Hi, so I'm going to create my assignment video. First, I'm going to start with DDL, which is data definition language. So, data definition language is used to manipulate SQL database, whether it's to create, whether it's to alter, or whether it's to define the database structure. So, first, I'm going to start with the database creation, right? At first, I will be using the SQL query editor, right? So to create a database, I'm going to create a new database, which is DB. I'm going to run this command. So I have successfully created a database, right? And from the SQL server now, we can see that a new database has been created. So I'm just going to refresh my Object Explorer to see the newly created database. Okay, okay. All right. So while I've been able to create a database, right? Another thing. Yes, so now I have my school database here. So while I'm able to create a database, I'm also going to switch to the school database that I just created, school DB, right? I'm going to make use of it and execute, right? Creating database into tables into the database. I could do it two ways. Either I use the user interface, or I use the query editor, right? So I'm just going to show how this can be created using the GUI. I'll just right click on the table, new, and create table. So right here, I can easily define a database, right? And add the column name. So for example, I can say student ID, student ID, and I will input the data type, right? And choose a particular data type and set the constraint whether it's null or you should not allow null. And I can easily define whether it's a primary key or not, right? I'll switch back to my query editor now to create a constraint. So right here, I'm going to create um student database using the query editor. I will execute this code, right, successfully. So right here now I have the student table that has been created with the student ID as the primary key, the first name, which would not contain now, and also the age column, which I already have a default value of 15, right? Another thing I will do is to create the courses, right? So I'm able to create that. So one thing I'm able to do here is to infuse the foreign key, right, which will directly reference the student ID in the student table, right? So I have um this here. Let me quickly go through the tables in the school DB so we can see all of that. So I'm just going to refresh the Object Explorer. So the tables, right? I have the tables, so I can easily go into one of the tables and see the keys and the constraints, right? So I can see the keys now. I can see that this is the primary key, right? All right. So that's it. Also some of the learning resources I was able to use, right? I was able to go through this on YouTube, which
Relationships
I was able
between
to understand
tables. But more
foreign keys
importantly,
and
foreign keys
constraints.
help us ensure that all of the data entering our database is consistent.
Another resource that I use is relational database design.
When using
right?
group by clause, you need to make sure two things. First, you need to include the grouped column in your select statement. Otherwise, you may end up with a confusing result.
All right. So in my W3 school tutorial, right, I was able to go through the database course and also the data type. So I was able to learn about the unique keys, primary keys, not null, auto increment, and all of that. So currently my trial mode has expired, right? So I could not track my progress. However, I was able to complete all of the required courses, right? So I'll move to exercise, right? So right on this screen, the question is, what is the purpose of the default constraint? Is provide default value for column if no value is specified. Yeah, so that's the answer, right? I'm done with this. The second one, after creating this, how can you confirm its creation? So what we have to do is to run a data show database command. Yes. So thank you very much for watching, and that's all for now.